Good afternoon and good evening. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz, reporting from eTurboNews and Livestream.travel in Honolulu, Hawaii. With me today is Maricar Donato. She is based in Washington, D.C. and in charge of a really interesting organization that caters to tour guides all over the world. And actually tomorrow we're going to have an event on Monday about the inauguration party for President Biden. Today on Sunday, January 17th, Maricar is joining me to talk a little bit about what is going on in Washington, D.C. Of course, Washington, D.C. is in the news headline. We all know about the problems we had and the invasion of the Capitol just days ago, and now such a big event coming up. How's everything in Washington, D.C.? And first of all, also thank you for joining us on this Sunday.
Yeah, thank you, Jürgen, for inviting me again to come and talk to you about my observation. So today is Sunday, January 17, and it's really quite quiet. And that's what's so frightening, that it's so quiet that we don't know when something's going to explode. So I took a nice walk today. I live 10 minutes away from the White House, so I just took a walk along my neighborhood, and I discovered that there's so many checkpoints now. You know, we have, I think, over 21,000 National Guards that have arrived in the city to prepare for the inauguration activities that will starting tomorrow, the 18th. So there are checkpoints, even to enter my neighborhood. We have to pass through through security, which I've never had before. After 35 years of living in the city, this never happened. So this for me is so eerie, so strange, you know, to have it happen in our nation's capital.
Now, when you said you have to go through security, what type of security you have to go through? Do you have to show ID, or there's a metal detector? Well, what?
Yeah, they just check who you are, you know, what you're doing in the premises, because anything that's very in proximity to the powerhouses, which is the White House, they want to be sure that your activities, you live there or you legally belong there, that you're not doing anything wild, like with firearms or weapons or carrying something. So even to go to church, you know, we are blocked by checkpoints. So the churches are closed now. There's no masses. Because of that, you know, they're afraid that people are being checked all over the place.
And then, of course, we have Corona at the same time, what is a scary combination, I would think. Now, when you say the checkpoints, are there metal detectors also? Are you?
Yes. What they're doing today is not so heavy. They're just watching who you are with, you're walking, what are you carrying? And then they have police cars in all the checkpoints. I mean, that entering the spaces, and like especially if you're going to the White House or coming out of the White House, going in. So they have a map that shows you the parameters where these checkpoints are being held. So I walk. The pedestrians, you're okay to walk in places. So that's what I did today, and you can show the photos that I took. Now, one of the hotels that's also very close to the White House, the Mayflower Hotel, where the inaugural balls are usually held, that is also fenced out. So we have this about 8 feet tall fences, you know, surrounding the hotel complex, because they say that people will get crazy, especially on Wednesday. Wednesday is the big target day, you know, for all this craziness to explode.
Now, do you have any idea how different this inauguration is expected to be, considering Corona, social distancing, and all of this? Usually, you have massive amount of people out on the streets, at the mall, and everywhere else. What do you expect is going to happen next week?
Usually, it's going to be a hybrid event. So I think the swearing in will be live. So we will all have the live presentation of President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris on the stage on the inaugural platform. They will do their oath at 12 noon on Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time. Then we will have a poetry reading. I believe he will give an inaugural address But I think that's it. And all the rest will be virtual, like he did his DNC. Everything was virtual and hybrid. I think that's what we're going to have. They just announced the schedule, which I just saw just really glimpses of. I don't think they will have lunches or parades or balls. I think all of that will be eliminated unless they change it. But I think it will just be the swearing in. That's what's going to happen. The traditional swearing in that has happened over 200 years now.
Right. And are there people expected in Washington to come in and watch this from the distance like they usually do, or is the mall and all these areas surrounding the White House pretty much sealed off, you think?
Yes, everything is we're in a living fortress right now. Everything is fenced out. So the people who are going to be there, I think they're expecting 1,000. So mostly the congressman and one family member, I believe, they will be maybe on the platform, on the stage itself. But the public is not allowed to come. That's why we're going to do the virtual and the hybrid event going on. And then we are going to have just everything is on the phones and on our computer. Everything is virtual. We will discuss that tomorrow when we come to your program, and the guides will talk about it. And that's why we would like to reimagine how it is on the real day. We're
Yeah,
going
that'll be interesting. I think our event tomorrow, we're very much looking forward to it. And for those that still wanted to attend virtually, of course, you can watch it on eTurboNews, but you can have an active role and really be part of this event in joining this Zoom conference. Just go to worldtourismevents.com and you see it right on the top because it's the next event we have, worldtourismevents.com. Click on the registration button and you'll be able to register. What time do we start tomorrow?
Tomorrow, our program starts at 2 o'clock Eastern time.
Okay, so 2 o'clock Eastern time, what would make it 11 o'clock in the morning, Los Angeles time, or 9 a.m. here in Hawaii, or if you're overseas, it would make it at 7 p.m. in London or 8 p.m. in Central Europe. And you have all these times if you go to worldtourismevents.com. And hopefully, a lot of people joined us already. Hopefully, you'll be part of it. Now, Marisa, now going through the current situation in Washington, D.C., and you live there, so you have kind of a sense of what is going on and what is spiking or not spiking. What is your gut feeling? Do you expect a lot of protests? Do you expect anything is going to happen? Or we all hope, of course, it's going to be quiet, it's going to be pleasant. What is your gut feeling what's going to happen on Wednesday?
Well, remember, we were all attacked on January 6th, and we don't want that to happen anymore. So I think everybody is over preparing now, really, with all the National Guards all over the place. The presence of security is so high that I've never seen this city that I love become like a fortress. It's so guarded. Like I feel like I'm not in a free world. This looks like I think Iran or Syria or Afghanistan. It's like I'm living in another world. I'm not sure, but that's just my feeling. I mean, I feel safe, but then I also feel scared. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and I can tell you, even far away, we're like 10, 11 hours flight time from you. I'm way on the other side of the country in the middle of the Pacific here in Hawaii. I drove by our state capital yesterday, and I
Yes.
couldn't believe overnight there were fences, 8 feet high fences surrounding a building what has always been open because it's the people's building. And you can walk in, there is really no big security. It's all open. Fresh air everywhere you're in the capital. Now it's fenced around, and strangely, I mean, we have an 80% Democratic government here in Hawaii. No one expects anything big, but I think security is a concern in all states. After the FBI issued a warning for every state, and we have 50 states and we have territories. It looks like it's a nationwide effort. And hopefully this will all remain peaceful. I, I'm very optimistic it will. And we're going to celebrate the inauguration tomorrow, again with tour guides in Washington, D.C., that will give us a little bit more background. Marisa, so thank you so much for the update. And is there anything else we should cover?
Yeah, I think if you saw that I took a walk today and I showed you exactly what is happening in my neighborhood. Like I said, 10 minutes there close to the White House, and that's what I took. The Mayflower Hotel, a very prestigious hotel where we have the inaugural balls. It's all fenced up. Of course, the square is Farragut Square, which is very close to the White House, is fenced up. The White House Road itself on 16th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue, it's completely, nobody can access that. I went as close as I could. I took some pictures, and you can show that too. And the video that I took was January 12th, when the whole Capitol complex is also surrounded by 8 foot tall fences all around it. And today it's even worse. So there's a lot of security going on, a lot of the National Guards. You cannot access anywhere. You have to have, papers, you have to have ID, and you cannot bring anything inside the complex. So we'll see what happens on the 20th, how the people who are invited to come are going to go through that, because it's only 1,000. I think it's a small percentage, not the usual one like Obama had over 1 million, that type of thing. This one is just 1,000 who will be really there present. The cabinet will be there, maybe ambassadors will be there, and Congress, all of Congress will be there.
And I,
So that's
and I think it's the first time that actually authorities in Washington ask people to stay home out of two reasons. One, of course, is the security concern, but even more important is Corona. Social distancing has never been more important than it is now. Wearing masks has never been more important than it is now. We're in the United States going through the worst when it comes to Corona, and we should all behave like this. And I hope we will. Do you see, I'm just a last question, do you see any people arriving from out of state? Are there buses of people coming in? Or is this not anything what is noticeable?
No, there are motor coaches that are coming, but I think it's for the National Guards. I mean, it seems to be they're transporting people. I've seen about 5 motor coaches today where I was walking, and they were all filled with people, but I believe they were the guards or they were official people. But I don't think we have visitors coming like before. The hotels are not full. It's very empty. The city is empty. So that's what I mean. It's very strange. It's a strange feeling for a celebration that you have this so much security going on, for a day to celebrate. So
And
we hope that we can still make a celebration virtually among our community. And that's what we strive for by being in your network tomorrow. You
And
know,
we're
and
looking forward now. Just a minute on talking about virtual tour guide and virtual tourism. Obviously, this is a big challenge for tour guides, not only in Washington, D.C., but we're looking at Washington, D.C. And I think a lot of you guys really wish there would be true tourists coming in you can show around because it's such a beautiful city. So how are you going to do this virtually? How do tour guides function and stay busy during these difficult times?
well, we have no tours, okay? Let's put it that way. Since March 12th, when everything was shut down, all our museums are shut down, Congress is shut down, so there's nowhere where visitors can go. So what we've been doing is just do a lot of webinars, talking about topics that might be of interest. Some guides have been doing virtual tours. So they present a neighborhood like African American or LGBTQ themed tours, and they talk about that, and they talk about communities. So we try to be creative and try to be as giving the service, the guide service as much as possible through the virtual world. But now you connected me to Robin um, Richmond, who has now has created a GoFundMe page for tourist guides, all over the world, which I think is wonderful. And that's what we hope to continue during this year. We want to work with her with different communities around the world and showing what they can do. So it's a great connection that you did for us, and we want to see it grow and develop.
I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Inaugural stand in person, swearing in with the first woman vice president who will be sworn in too. Big news. Preparing all the chairs, the porta potties, people are coming. And here's the beautiful view of the Capitol again with the flags. And look at the buntings. The 4 flags are now displayed. Look at that.
No, Marisa, you've been an inspiration for so many people, not only tour guides, so many people around the world. And that's actually why we awarded, or the World Tourism Network awarded you the title of a tourism hero. Thank you for being a hero in these difficult times. And we see you all tomorrow. Again, if you wanted to register, go to worldtourismevents.com, worldtourismevents.com, and we would love to party and celebrate the inauguration with you tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.